Hey everyone, Heather here. You've clicked on this video because you want to learn a little bit more about the CBD products that are available on the market and some of the differences between them. So today what I'll do is I'll showcase some of the CBD products that are out there, what considerations you may want to keep in mind when you're purchasing CBD, and just some tips and tricks for incorporating this into your life. With more and more people stepping into the cannabis lifestyle, CBD is becoming pretty popular, especially because this is a cannabinoid that people can use without getting high during their day. Not that there's anything wrong with THC or getting high or THC-rich products out there, but sometimes there are just times where we don't want to get high during work, when we're out driving around, when we've got responsibilities and maybe children to take care of. So for all of those daytime needs, CBD is this really cool option that people can leverage. Just a little bit of anecdotal personal insight here. I'm someone who's been using cannabis for over a decade, and so there were times, even as recently as a few years ago, where I was thinking, I don't really know that I need to add CBD on top of my current regimen. Aren't I already consuming enough of what this plant offers? And yet, once I actually started to read a little bit more about CBD and saw how powerful it is, I started to try it in my own life and basically supplemented my usual cannabis intake with some more intentional CBD doses. And you guys, it was a game changer. It's been really effective for both my physical pain and also improved mental health. And I can tell the days when I don't take it. And sorry to my hubby, but those might be the days that I'm a little more irritable with him, right? So let's do our friends and family a favor and make sure that we're getting in the CBD that we need to keep us feeling happy, healthy, grounded, and the best version of ourselves. So when it comes to getting CBD, I just want to answer this question right off the bat. People will often ask, okay, if I'm taking a CBD isolate, I'm not going to test hot on a drug test, right? Let's get into this a little bit. So there are so many different kinds of marijuana drug tests out here these days, and these might be issued by an employer either after an accident or during the onboarding and hiring process. We've seen some changes from big companies lately in terms of how they're going to be treating cannabis use from their employees, including Amazon. So this is an ever-moving conversation. But the reality is that based on who you are, where you work, and what your life looks like, you might be subject to a drug test. So I just want to call it out. Although there are things you can do to limit your likelihood of testing hot after using CBD, it is something to be cautious about. A lot of the products out there are CBD isolates, and so they say they have no THC in them. But there's still a risk that some of the THC is in the final product. Remember that CBD is derived from hemp or cannabis, which is really all of the same plant, and THC is innate to that plant. And so it's possible that just a little skosh of THC is still present in your CBD isolate products and may flag you if you were to take a cannabis drug test. So just keep that in mind. If you need to exercise caution from an occupational standpoint, then please do so. Cannabis is about making our lives better, right? And yet we don't want to put ourselves in danger or any risk as we step toward better health. If you're someone that doesn't need to worry about drug tests, you either work for an employer that is okay with cannabis use, or you have a medical card and they're good with that, or you're self-employed, then, go ahead and proceed. Just wanted to call that out there. You can test hot from CBD, often asked question, and that's just a direct answer for you guys. Okay, so when you're choosing CBD, one really important thing to keep in mind is what cannabinoid ratio are you looking for? There's all different kinds of CBD products on the market these days. Some of them contain only CBD. These are called CBD isolates. Other CBD products are broad spectrum, meaning that they don't contain any THC. Again, that's at least what's being reported. It's still possible that there could be some THC in there, but broad spectrum meant to be a no THC product, and yet it does have some of the other minor cannabinoids and terpenes and flavonoids that come from the plant. So it's pretty close to a full representation of what the originating plant looked like, just with the absence of THC. And then finally, we've got our full spectrum CBD products. These are products that have a high quantity of CBD, but also some THC, and finally some of those other components within the plant. So other minor cannabinoids, terpenes, and then some flavonoids. If you are not one of those people that has to worry about drug tests and there's really no reason holding you back from trying out THC, then what I would recommend from a therapeutic efficacy standpoint is to lean for full spectrum products whenever you have this option. Full spectrum CBD products are the closest that we're going to get to the original profile of the plant. And this plant is so wonderful. It's a God-given plant that was put here on earth to help us feel well. So if you can, why not give yourself the chance to fully experience the full plant and get that entourage effect going. In fact, beyond that, I wanted to share something that's kind of cool. There's actually something called the Entourage Effect that takes place in full spectrum products. So basically, when we have all the cannabinoids present from the cannabis plant, particularly CBD and THC, these cannabinoids work together, and there's a synergistic component here. I've heard a lot of people describe this as, within plant medicine, there really is such a thing as 1 + 1 = 3. So what this means is when you take in a CBD formula that has a good amount of THC in it as well, there is an entourage effect taking place, and the therapeutic value that you're going to be getting is much higher than if you were taking the CBD or even the THC separately. Put together, working in your body, they're having a great time in your endocannabinoid system, and they're partnering to make sure that your body gets into balance as quickly as possible. For that reason, personally, when it comes to my own CBD intake, I'm usually using some full spectrum CBD. Another aspect of purchasing CBD that I wanted to get into today is considering how strong a formulation is and how many cannabinoids basically they put into a little bottle, because there are different strength formulations out there. I've got a few brands today just to kind of highlight and showcase what I'm talking about here. So there are some brands that create what I would call like lower to mid-range CBD strength formulations. One of these is Tommy Chong CBD. So if you've been following me, you know that I love Mr. Tommy Chong. I think he's got a heart and a soul that is gold. Beyond this, he also creates really effective CBD and cannabis products. So I've got Tommy Chong CBD here, and what I wanted to highlight is that here on the bottle it says there are 300 milligrams of CBD in this bottle. So this is about a lower to mid-range CBD strength formula, in that in this whole bottle, 1 ounce of liquid here, we've got 300 milligrams of CBD. And oftentimes when you purchase a CBD product like this, you're going to want to know, well, how does that break down? What's the strength of any particular drop? Or if I were to take a, say, full dropper of product, how much CBD would be contained within? What I would encourage you is always check out the label. Usually companies do a good job of saying, here's how many milligrams of CBD are in the full bottle, but when we look at just the dropper, here's how many you can expect to be in there. For instance, in this bottle, each serving, each dropper is 10 milligrams of CBD. So everybody's got a different sweet spot for CBD, and the amount that you take throughout your day may differ from what works for your neighbor or your friend. We all have unique endocannabinoid systems. But in general, I'd say a daily range from 20 to 50 milligrams of CBD is a pretty effective, healthy range to strive for. And so with something like the Tommy Chong CBD, with 10 milligrams in each dropper, this could look like taking 2 droppers throughout your day, or maybe even a third. Hitting about that 30 milligrams of CBD should get you feeling good. This is a brand that I really enjoy, and it's also available to people across the United States. It's a full spectrum oil, but primarily CBD, and Tommy's team actually uses a really great nanotechnology protocol as well, so it's pretty quick acting. So that is my example today of a lower to mid-range strength CBD formula. Moving on up the scale, I have another bottle here that is also 1 ounce of liquid, and yet in this bottle, we've got 500 milligrams of CBD. This is from my friends over at Popped.NYC, and they create this lovely peppermint flavored CBD tincture. This is one of my favorites. But as you can see, this one is a little bit stronger. Now, every milligram of CBD is just as strong as the next. There just happens to be more milligrams of CBD in a bottle like this one. So if you're taking 20 to 50 milligrams of CBD a day, a bottle like this might get you through more days, right, than what Mr. Tommy Chong's CBD would do for you. And what Popped has indicated here on the bottle is that 1 milliliter or 1 dropper of this CBD product is 17 milligrams of CBD. Oh, quick tip. When I'm taking my CBD, I put it underneath my tongue and I let it sit there for 20 to 30 seconds or so. We've got really super absorbent cells underneath the tongue, and if you let it sit there, it's just gonna help it get into your bloodstream and increase that bioavailability faster so that you can get feeling good sooner than later. I really enjoy this brand. Again, Popped.NYC. This, like Tommy Chong's CBD, is another product that you can order online. It can ship to anywhere in the United States. And that's because it has just a little bit of THC in it, enough to be beneath the legal limit and be able to be sold around the United States after the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill. Regardless of the type of state that you live in, whether or not it's medically legal, recreationally illegal, consider CBD. It's something that you can probably get right now to help you start dosing while the laws in your region may still be lagging behind and slowly changing for the future. And then finally, moving on up and getting to a really good extra strength CBD product that I found. I've got this CBD oil here that I found in Oregon, actually. And what drew me to this really was the extra strength component of it. So in this 1 ounce bottle, we actually have 1,000 milligrams of CBD. So again, think about the daily range of around 20 to 50 milligrams. A bottle like this could get me through quite a while going through that range. This bottle is full spectrum, and so it actually walks me through how much THC is in this. And just kind of following that data point that we were looking at the other bottles in terms of what CBD content is in each dropper of this, we get 38.3 milligrams CBD. And then there's also 1.3 milligrams of THC in a dropper of this formulation as well. And again, that's really effective for kickstarting the Entourage Effect and allowing your body to feel the full effect of all the cannabinoids working synergistically to help you improve your endocannabinoid health. So I hope that's helpful. As you can see, there's a lot of different considerations to keep in mind when it comes to sourcing your CBD. Things to think about. Are you going to be drug tested? If so, please exercise caution. What I would say is if you do have to worry about a drug test, maybe just focus on CBD only topicals at this moment. Keep yourself safe. And in the meanwhile, I'm hoping that we can start to change the expectations of employers and even our federal government. And so we can allow people to start leveraging medicines that help them feel better, right? But do be careful if you need to make sure that you are not testing hot on a drug test. CBD might still get you into trouble. We talked about choosing the right cannabinoid profile for you. Do you want a CBD isolate? Do you want a broad spectrum product? Or do you want something that contains THC in it and will bring the entourage effect into play? We also talked through the fact that there are different levels of strength out there in terms of formulations of CBD. So there are formulations where 1 ounce has 1 to 300 milligrams. We've got mid-range formulations where there's 500 or so milligrams of CBD. And then we've got our extra strength formulas that have 1,000 and on up. When in doubt, bring a product home, start low and slow, listen to your intuition in your body, and let your body tell you how it likes the medicine that you're giving it. As needed, you can slowly ramp up your dose, and you're going to be looking for basically what's called your CBD sweet spot. Lots of considerations to keep in mind, but don't worry, you don't have to make these purchasing decisions in a vacuum. Leverage some professional help along this journey. I highly recommend talking to bud tenders that work in dispensaries. They're often very, very helpful. You can also consider working with a cannabis coach, such as myself. And if we were to work together, I'd be happy to share all these details with you, understand where you're coming from and what particular health challenges you are looking to overcome. And then together we can come up with a CBD action plan for you. Figure out where you live, what's available in your state, what's going to be the most effective product for you, get you on a dosing regimen that works, and help you move toward a life of ease once again. If you'd like more information on CBD, I invite you to head on over to my website, budandblossom.blog. And on the homepage there, I have a CBD guide that I put together for you. It's called CBD for Self-Healing. It's a multi-page document that walks you through what is CBD, why is it becoming so popular, what it does in our bodies, and then how to leverage it for better health and happiness. Anyway, thanks so much for checking out this video. I really hope this was helpful. If you have more questions about cannabis or CBD, please reach out. You can also head on over to my website, Bud and Blossom, and from there I've got a lot of content about CBD and how to design your own personal cannabis journey. Okay, thanks again, you guys. Have a great day, and I'll be checking in with y'all soon.